So recently I've been covering content on Street Fighter Duel. This game is published by, guess who? Crunchyroll. I've been also covering for a very long time content on this game, which is MHA TSH, also published by Crunchyroll. There is one more game, okay, that Crunchyroll is known for, and this is the game that is their most reputable one. This is the one that's been there for so long, and it's literally, if TSH and these other games weren't published, this was the only game they had. Genuinely, this was the only game they had, right? And officially today, okay, this game is Princess Connect Redive, okay? You may have heard of this, and no one expected this in a million years to happen. It had life ahead of it. It did. In my opinion, from what I've heard, and the community that backs it, it had life ahead. They have officially announced here today that they are shutting that game down. This basically marks, other than the new batch of games that have released, almost every game has shut down from Crunchyroll. It is absolutely crazy. Today I want to talk about it. I'll hop over there and show it to you. It's nuts. It is nuts to think about. So just to show it to you, right? These are the Crunchyroll games that are currently out. You have Street Fighter Duel, which is brand new. Eminence Shadow, which is like 3-4 months old. You have Bloodline, which is 6 months old. You have My Hero Academia, which is about a year and 6 months old. You have this, which I believe is shut down. Yeah, it says right here clearly shut down, so it's vaulted. You have this, which is officially shut down. How? This was their bread and butter. I'm so, like, it is nuts. And look at the amount of support this tweet got. Look at this. There are so many people that play this game, and they're mortified here today to find out that it's shutting down. But that means that almost every, look at this. Look at how many games have been shut down by them. It's nuts. You have this, vaulted, 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 vaulted. This is on the track. Look at this. If there's a chopping block, this is up next to get chopped, bro. So that's there. These three can't get vaulted just yet. They just released, and they already probably have developed content that has to release. So this is mortifying to see. Again, you don't think this, or you may not think this is like huge, but this game was like their bread and butter. This was, if you will, this is more hyped in this game, but this makes more money just because it's MHA. But whatever this is, it's a community that backed the game so much, and you would never think they would shut down for the amount of player base and money it was still kind of generating for being a little bit more of a cheaper game to make. But out of nowhere, they dropped a bombshell saying, nah, it's shutting down, get ready for it. And like they released like an end of service message. Thank you, guys, for your amazing support during our adventure in Landisol, I guess. Today we will share that the Princess Connect Redive will come to an end here on April 30th, which is again a month away. They're gonna give you time to, like, you know, look at your account, remember the memories, and that's it. We are incredibly grateful to our loyal fans and all the bonds that have been created. Thank you for the journey. That's it, right? So this is, again, you might not stand here and like realize this, but this just goes to show how much of a terrible publisher Crunchyroll really is. Everything they touch, every game they touch, they end up screwing it completely, okay? MHA, so this game, if you don't already know what happened here, they had a year of content. After that year of content, it is dead. For the last 8 months, there has not been a single update to the game in 8 months. It's just been pending reruns, and they just try to make them, I guess, milk the money out of the player base. That is all they're doing right now. So the players, and me being a player, obviously know this is going to shut down anytime. It's like, it's imminent. It's about to happen. They have to shut it down. There is nothing happening. There's no devs actually working on the game. It's just idle, just sitting there, right? So this, which had developers, had people working on the game, then got chopped off. It's crazy, but this is getting out the way. This is more of this is a very cheap game to make, and they still rack in a little bit of money, so that's fine. This is still doing really popular over the Japan version, which is fine. This one, again, right, so had its first controversy, that did happen, but it's making money, and this is their bread and butter now for maybe a year or two, but then they'll just go and chop it off. But if you play a Crunchyroll game in the future, you have to understand this. Doesn't matter if you're biased towards Street Fighter, I don't care. Doesn't matter if you're biased towards MHA. Just know that in the future, if there is a published game that you like, and if there is a current one that you like, out of these 4 options that are left, just know that there's a very high chance they shut down in a relatively close future. There are games that survive like years and years. Crunchyroll is not a publisher that can hold that title of, yeah, we kept this game alive for this many years. They just can't. It literally can't. So I am mortified to read this tweet here today. I'm look at it. It still gets retweets and likes as I'm talking here, because this is a very popular game, and no one saw this coming. If I were to click quote retweets and read through it, people would be like, no freaking way. That's why there's so many quote retweets, because people are mortified to see this news here today. I don't know, man. So be prepared if you're a TSH player and you're watching this video. There's a high chance the game is next, because there's nothing. TSH hasn't got anything in how long? There's no devs working on the game. Maybe the revenue is still kicking it up. I'll check that in a second here. But Again, Street Fighter Duel, it has time. They have content to release, so it's gonna take like a year or two before they even plan to shut the game down. But if you play Street Fighter, you're fine. Just know that there's no long term with anything Crunchyroll makes. It's just the case. If you play MX Shadow, just know that there's no long term with Crunchyroll. Okay, like as much as I'll tell it to you and lie to you, there isn't. They have shut down now. And again, the reason that I said Crunchyroll might be redeemable is because they kept this one game alive. This is the one game that they kept alive. They did it. I'm like, they broke the mold. They kept the game alive. Because at the time when I recorded that video, when I talked about it back then, this was dead, basically. It was dying. So I didn't want to count that. This just released, so you can't count these two. This is just released, can't count it. There is content to release, so they can't just shut it down just yet. But this, which was a long-standing game, it's nuts, dude. I know I keep repeating to myself, but how did they shut down Princess Catastrophic Dive? Dude, that's crazy. And then these are already gone, so... It's sad that they even have this website. They should just take the website down. Like, just looking at this is depressing. Vaulted. About to be vaulted. No one even plays this anymore. This might even get vaulted. These two are brand new, so you can't vault a game that just dropped, right? It's crazy, dog. It's crazy. And hopping over here, I was able to pull up the revenue reports. So, Crunchyroll as a... I think this is iOS. This might be this is Android. Wow, I'm blind. So as Android stands, you're making, or rather, they are making 100,000 when it comes to downloads a month. They're also making $600,000 in revenue. 400,000 of that revenue comes from Eminence and Shadow. Okay, 100,000 only from MHA TSH, which is sad. This game has dropped so much. That is crazy. Bloodline is bringing in a nice little 20K. Nothing too much. What? Street Fighter's doing 5. Wow. That has to be a bug. There is no way Street Fighter's only doing 5. Really? Okay, I think that's a bug. Because the game just released. There's no shot it's doing 5K. We'll check that later. And then Princess Catastrophic Dive is doing 100K. This is not bad for the amount of download. They don't get much downloads, right? Plus, this is Android. Probably is doing 200K on iOS. But... It's crazy that this game was surviving. It was, and still shut down. This game is going to shut down, but still. This game is 400K. It's going to have a little bit of life ahead of it, and it does also do really good on JP. So this is fine, but it's look at every game is basically from Crunchyroll failing. It's because people don't have faith in Crunchyroll anymore. They've released so many games, and whatever you say, I know people say like, oh, they didn't really screw up the, Street Fighter that much. The first whole banner was a screw up, and there are still screw ups here and there. Sure, they have, I guess, amended some things, but there was no need to drop that entire controversy at the start of the game. It was unnecessary, right? They did it here too. There was so much controversy at the start of the game, which killed it. And then you go 1 year later and you just don't release anything. What happened? It's just it's a money making machine until it stops chugging through and like, oh yeah, we're making that strong dough for doing nothing. As soon as it stops making that dough, they're like, oh, we're good to go. We made our extra money. They made $1 million basically, 2 million, right? From just keeping the game alive for the little time they did. And because of that, they can just move on their day and have fun, right? But to end this video off with a message and a quick little thing to know for the future. If a game is being published by Crunchyroll and it's your favorite game, just know that game is probably going to have a lot of controversy around it, and it is also going to end up dying after 1-2 year mark. That's it. Every game that they publish, that they've touched, that they've taken under their belt and buckle, or whatever you want to say, ended up as a massive flop, massive failure, and just an absolute dumpster fire. So in the future, take away from this video, you walk away knowing this information. If a game like Fighting Path, if a game like anything, even if you love that game, you have to be aware, maybe I shouldn't spend some money in it, maybe I shouldn't do this with it, because they really dropped the bag. Like, dude, this is massive that this shut down. This is massively bad. This is insane. This is crazy. This is nuts. There's no way they shut down. This was their bread and butter. This was their game, and it's gone now. So they don't even have a poster child for like the company. This was it. It's gone. Now it's just Street Fighter Duel or TSH. One of those. But Eminence Shadow is not that popular in comparison. It just makes a lot of money, yes, but it's not that popular after that. Mainly it's TSH and now Street Fighter. And what if TSH goes? It's just Street Fighter, which I don't know, man. I don't know.